Hello everybody, we are back here on the Hunter Classic, and today we have a special early access look at the brand new fallow deer that are being brought to the game. I told you guys a while back that I would play Classic once they brought something new into the game, and that has finally been done with the fallow deer coming to Hirschfelden. This will be able to be found across the entire map. I believe it's only on Hirschfelden as of now, but you never know when that might change in the future, so there is a possibility that in the future fallow deer could be moved to other maps as well, but as of now we have them here on Hirschfelden, and I am incredibly excited to get out there and try to take out a few of them. I have wanted fallow deer in Classic for a very long time, so it's super awesome to see that they are finally here. Now keep in mind, this is a development build I am playing on, so there is boosted spawn rates for all fur types of the fallow deer. That way I can better show them off to you guys, that way you can get a good idea of what every type of fallow deer is going to look like, all the different fur types and different rack sizes and things like that. It's going to be pretty awesome to be able to show this off to you guys and give you a bit of a more in-depth look at all the stuff relating to the fallow deer. And oh, is that a roe deer or a fallow right there? That's a roe deer, unfortunately. But the other thing is there is a couple new items with this update. We've got the brand new trophy shop hoses for the fallow deer, and we also have the fallow deer urine spray. You can use the grunt collar to call in the fallow, so alright, hold on 1 second. There is something that I need to quickly add because as I am editing this video, I just received another email from one of the developers at the Hunter Classic. And, well, it turns out that they have tweaked the collars that work on fallow deer, so it's no longer the grunt collar and the bleat collar that will work on them. It will be the rattling antler collar, so just keep that in mind for when you guys actually hunt the fallow deer. It will be the antler rattler that works on them. It won't be the grunt like I'm using in this video. That was the last second change that they just made, so just keep that in mind as you're playing. You won't need a brand new collar, thankfully. You'll be able to use your normal deer collar, which is pretty great. I believe you can also use some of the other deer collars. I haven't actually got a chance to look over that, but I did see that you can use the grunt collar, so that is going to be absolutely awesome. And obviously, throughout this video, if we find any crazy good spots for fallow deer where I just see a ton of them, I will let you guys know where it is on the map, and we will hopefully be able to pinpoint a couple decent locations to find them. I've got a sneaking suspicion that these fields might be the place to go. Fields are a great place to look for fallow deer in the Hunter Call of the Wild, so I can't see why they wouldn't be good in the Hunter Classic as well. You know, shockingly enough, I have not seen anything throughout the entire little stretch of fields on the opposite side and throughout the beginning of these fields. It's honestly a little bit weird not to see any fallow deer in the fields, so I guess I'm gonna have to expand my search a bit and maybe start searching the forests, because I think it's pretty clear the fields aren't gonna be as much of a sure shot as I thought they would be. We're definitely gonna have to kind of change up our approach and maybe go hunt some of the more forested areas of the map and hope that we can get some calls. Ooh, there we go. Finally! Finally, we have the call from a fallow deer. That is absolutely amazing. So I had to restart the session because I didn't want to go ahead and fast travel, or I guess wait the half hour to fast travel. So we are in a brand new session, but this is our first grunt from a fallow deer. I've been really anticipating the release of fallow deer in Classic, so this is just incredible. It's gonna be so nice to see what they actually end up looking like. Ooh, there we go. Okay, that is beautiful right there. I believe that is the piebald variation of the fallow deer. Like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, all of the different fur type rarities are going to be spawning more because this is a development build that was provided to me by the team at the Hunter Classic. And this is also an account provided by them, so none of this is going to be what you guys will actually be having happen when it releases to everybody. Obviously, by the time this video goes out, it'll probably already be released to everybody, but as of now, this is pre-release, and everything is boosted rates just so that I can show them off to you guys, because they are stunning already. I am loving what I'm seeing from just this first fallow deer. And I'm really excited to check out some more of them. Man, look at that beauty right there. That is actually a different one. So this is the leucistic fur type for the fallow deer. I don't know where that little piebald one went, but that is a leucistic that we just looked at. Now, from what I can tell, there is no albino for the fallow deer. It's just melanistic, leucistic, and piebald, along with a couple different common variations, which we will try to get one of everything in this video. So there we have our piebald and our leucistic right next to each other. Honestly, I don't know which one I like more. I kind of like the look of the leucistic a little bit better. I do think that is a solid looking fallow deer. And from these two that we can see right here, the true racks for them look pretty good. I'm assuming both of these are very small ones. We'll try to get some larger ones at some point, but this is a good first look at the fallow deer, and I'm pretty impressed so far. Now I think, considering they are very close to each other, and most likely if I shoot one, the other will spook, regardless of what I use, so we're not even going to bother with the bow. Let's just take them down with the 308. I don't know if we hit the piebald one. We might have to go look for that guy again. Although I think it's running in a decent direction, so maybe we'll be able to catch up to it pretty quickly. But we did get the leucistic down, so let's go take a look at this guy. And there it is. That should be the leucistic fallow deer. At least as far as I can tell, that should be what this is. Now there was one type of fur type that I was not entirely sure what it meant. So we're going to have to try and find one of those, but this is the leucistic right here. Let's go ahead and taxidermize it so we can get a look at it in the lodge afterwards. But that is a pretty good start to the day. We'll get a quick trophy shot of it. Unfortunately, it is in the rain, but let's get a look at the antlers on this thing. That's not too bad. I am liking that so far. Let's try to get it straight up and a closer look. Not bad. This does remind me of some of the smaller fallow deer in the Hunter Call of the Wild. The coloration's a little bit different, but I do like this. I kind of like this coloration better than the ones in Call of the Wild. I think this is much nicer looking than that kind of like light tan that we have in Call of the Wild. That's really nice looking. Very, very solid looking fallow deer. And we do have some new poses, as I mentioned, so let's go over all of those. There is one of the trophy shot poses. We also have this one right here. We've got this one right here, which is probably what a lot of people will end up using. And then we also have this one right here, where it's kind of standing up looking at you. But I think we will go with that one. And now it turns out I forgot to purchase the trophy shot poses, since this is a special account just for this early access look. So yeah, I don't actually have my normal poses with me, so we're just gonna have to go with something basic like this. And what direction is the lighting? So the lighting's actually like this, so I think we'll flip it around. I think that's about the best we're gonna get from this area. It's unfortunately kind of a rough spot to take screenshots or trophy shots, so we're just gonna have to deal with that. Now, let's see if we actually hit the piebald. Well, it's definitely a hit, and I think it should die from that. If not, we're at least in a decent spot to where we should be able to see it. So we're going to follow these tracks and hopefully come across him pretty quickly. Oh my gosh. Well, that was another fallow deer call. You know what? I think we might take a break from chasing after the piebald and figure out where this one is and what it is. So that call right there is definitely the call from the does. So we now know what the does sound like, at least. Let's wait for this one to come in and we'll actually try to get a shot on her. I just want to see what fur type she is, to see if it's maybe the other common variation. Because like I said, there was two different fur types for them. I think one of them was like Dyleen or something like that. You know what? Let me take a look at it. Okay, so I actually got that completely wrong. It's called Manil, or something like that. I honestly don't know how it's pronounced, but that's the way it looks, at least, is Manil. So that's interesting. That's supposedly going to be a common fur variation, Manil, and then the regular commons. Interested to see what each of them looks like. Hopefully we'll get a look at everything today. Alright, let's go ahead and draw back and see if we can get an arrow into this doe right here. It's getting pretty close, so just want to real quickly drop one in there. That way we don't spook anything else around the area. And we'll get a look at this doe to see what fur type it is, because I am very curious if this is the common or the Manil. And this one is Manil. Okay, so let's take a closer look at this. I'm assuming it's the darker backed ones, because this one does have a very dark back, and honestly I like that. Although it could just be that maybe the does have this fur type and then the bucks have the normal common. That could also be a thing. We're gonna have to kill some more to actually figure that out, but I love the way that looks. It looks really nice. Everything from like the coloration to the spotting, it just looks really good. So far I'm pretty impressed with the fallow deer. Alright, well, we have found that piebald fallow deer. Now it's time to get a good look at this thing because it looked really good from a distance and, oh man. Yeah, that's beautiful. That's a solid looking piebald. I don't know which one I like more, the piebald or the leucistic of the variations we've seen. Obviously, we're going to taxidermize all of the different variations we find today. That way you guys can get the best look at them possible. But let's see how these look. That is pretty good. Not bad, and that is another fallow deer we just heard call, so we're going to have more to chase down after this, which is great. Absolutely great as always. Let's see if we can get a decent trophy shot of this guy. Let's move it a little bit further over here. It's unfortunate that we don't have our poses because I forgot to get them, but, you know, maybe I'll buy them after this right here. And, yeah, let's just go ahead and... You know what, let's do a different type of pose for this trophy shot. And we'll actually move our character out of there. And just do a trophy shot of only the fallow. I like that. I think that looks pretty good right there. And it really shows off the piebald pattern on it. Very nice. There we go. There is another fallow deer. I believe that is just the doe that we saw earlier, though. So I might not even chase after that. And in fact, I see her right there. Yeah, it's definitely the doe, so let's move on and try to find something else. Although, that's the actual common fur type, so let's take a moment to look at it. Because the last one was the manil. This appears to be the regular common, so you can already see the difference. This is much lighter, no dark brown on the back. Overall, it looks very different than the manil doe that we took out earlier. I like that there is some nice variety between them. Well... As far as I know, this is not actually something that is boosted on these beta builds of the Hunter Classic. That's a piebald red deer. It's definitely not what we're looking for, but considering that has nothing changed with it, that's actually kind of crazy that we even found one. Man, I am sad that this is not on the main build, because I would love to have another piebald red deer, and now I can't even keep it. So, yeah, it's a little unfortunate, but... we're definitely going to take it down anyway. It may not be a fallow deer, but that's still really, really cool. And just like that, he has hit the ground. Let's go take a look at him. And then I think we'll probably move out of this area since we just fired off and spooked probably everything in the vicinity. But yeah, let's go check him out. Well, there it is, an unexpected piebald red deer, and honestly, it's not even a bad looking one either. Definitely not huge, but a solid looking rare red deer. We're not really gonna take a screenshot, or I mean a trophy shot of this guy at all, because I mean there's really no point. We're just here for the fallow deer, but that is a cool thing to come across at least. We'll tax him real quickly, but let's go ahead and move on and actually do some fallow deer hunting. Okay, so honestly at this point it's been about an hour since I started recording this video, and we've only seen those couple bucks for the fallow deer along with a couple of the does. I think I'm just going to start running around and seeing if I can come across some tracks, because these honestly seem to be just as rare as the axis deer. Although this is just my first impressions of it, it could be a lot more common than I think, or I guess they could be a lot more common than I think. But as of now, it's looking like fallow deer are definitely not going to be seen as much as red deer are. So that's kind of interesting. We're going to have to do some more searching around. I might just be looking in the completely wrong areas, but... As of now, based off of the locations that I've gone throughout here, and then I checked all of these fields over here during the last session, and now we're kind of going through here, it honestly is looking like either they're in the thickly forested areas, or there's just not a lot of them on the map at once. Which I'm kind of thinking there's probably just not a lot of them on the map. Well, we finally got another call from a fallow deer, so that is a positive at least. I do believe that is a doe, however, so that's a little bit unlucky, but it seems like they're mainly on this side of the river, which, considering it says they can be on either sides, I'm wondering where they are over here. Probably down in this area, I would guess. But, I mean, at least we found another place where we can find them, so once we get the chance, we'll have to cross over and see if we can figure out where this one is. Hey, there we go. We finally found ourselves another fallow deer, and I believe that is a melanistic female, so this will be our first look at the melanistic. Actually, there is a bunch of females out there. We also have one of the piebald females to look at, and what is going on there? Well, that was interesting looking, but we do finally have a different type of a group of fallow deer. We got a group of 4 females, and it looks like we might even have one right here, or maybe that was just a pheasant. Well, kind of embarrassed I just got tricked by a pheasant into thinking it was a fallow deer, but you know what? Doesn't really matter. We got ourselves 4 nice fallow deer over here, and we're gonna get a chance to check out a few different fur types. One thing I can already tell you guys is it's not going to be super easy to hunt the fallow deer in the Hunter Classic. They do seem to be one of the less common species on the map of Hirschfelden. I've seen way more red deer and hogs than I have fallow deer, so that's one thing to keep in mind just based off of this first little look that I've had. I've been playing for about an hour and a half now, and this is only like the 3rd time that I've seen fallow deer. We saw that initial group with the couple bucks, then we saw the solo doe, and now we've got this group of 4 does here. They definitely are not common, and I've searched a decent bit of the map. We'll definitely expand our search a little bit more as the day goes on, like I mentioned a couple times, but off of first look, they seem to be pretty rare. Well, after officially seeing all of the different fur types for the brand new fallow deer, I gotta say, I think this Melanistic is definitely the nicest looking. Let's go ahead and get that down along with this if we can. I am not used to having absolutely 0 skills on my rifles, so it is incredibly wobbly and hard to keep steady, which is unfortunately going to mean I'm not going to hit a lot of my running shots, because I really can't hold my breath for too long before it just starts going crazy and wobbling everywhere. It's quite the difference between having an account that you've been playing on for years where all of your rifles have decently high levels so you can keep them steady. It's kind of rough with fresh accounts. It honestly makes me feel a little bit bad for the people that have to play with a fresh account when you're first starting in the Hunter Classic, because it's definitely not easy. And that is our hit right there. You know, I don't even know how long it's going to take for that thing to die. I don't think it was even a good shot. Well, there she is. Honestly, sometimes it blows my mind just how I'm able to mess up some of the easiest shots. But it looks like that was an intestine shot because we hit a little bit too far back. Let's tax that real quickly, and then we will take a look at it in the trophy shot. I definitely think this is by far the nicest of the fur types. Man, that is absolutely amazing looking. I love how it's not just a jet black fallow deer. It actually has a little bit of different tones throughout its body. Very nice. I love how they've done that with some of the newer species in both Call of the Wild and Classic. It's great to see them doing that. Absolutely love it. Let's once again just get a view of just the fallow deer. And then we're going to wait for the perfect lighting so I can figure out which way I actually need to be facing, because this rain just makes it so difficult to get good looking screenshots. Yeah, that is absolutely amazing looking. I love the way the Melanistic fallow looks. That is just beautiful. Hopefully we can find ourselves a buck that's Melanistic, which shouldn't be too difficult considering with the beta everything's got equal spawn chances. So I'll probably do some more searching around for the rest of the day, and I guess whatever I find will go on the next part of this video. Alright, we have finally found ourselves some more fallow deer, and we've actually got a few different ones here. There is a few does as well as a couple bucks. This one is, I believe, whatever that fur type's called, manil or whatever it is, along with a piebald buck. The piebald's definitely smaller. The manil one is about the same size as the others we killed, I think, but we're going to try and get both of them down. And then there's also that piebald doe that we might want to take as well, just to kind of see if the piebald does are different than the piebald bucks. Although we could probably tell that just by looking at them. And they do look a little bit different. It's not a lot, but I do see minor differences. Well, these fallow deer are starting to move into the call, and I gotta say, they are looking even better the closer they get. And there's definitely differences between the female and male piebalds, which I kind of expect from the Hunter games recently. Like, in both Call of the Wild and Classic, they've been kind of leaning towards more variety with things, which is really nice to see. And as far as I can tell, it's no different here. It seems like there is differences between the male and female piebalds, which is pretty cool. Let's get an even closer look, just to, you know, be sure. Let's look at the pattern around the eye. That is a little bit of brown around there, and it's definitely a little bit different on the male. Yeah, there's definitely some differences, which is pretty cool. Let's see if we can maybe bow this one, and then we'll try to take out as many others with the bow. I honestly don't know how many we'll be able to, though, considering they are kind of close together. But we'll see what we can manage to pull off. And honestly, I think we're going to have to take this guy instead. And I don't understand how that didn't hit it. Let's try to get the piebald one if we can. There we go, we got him. And let's see if we can get her as well. I don't know what happened there, but it just like jerked to the left, or not the left, but the right a little bit. That was weird. And that will be the end of that buck. So we did get both the bucks. I don't know what happened on that doe. It's like when I took the shot, it's almost like my scope just kind of jerked off in a random direction. That was very strange. However, it does look like we got her, so, I mean, we got that going for us at least. It seems like we got all three that we fired at. Let's take a look at this piebald guy first, because I think it was probably the most interesting out of all of them. So we will real quickly pick this one up. It actually looks like the coloration on the antlers is a little bit different than what it was with the others. So let's go ahead and tax that guy, and then we will check it in a trophy shot, because it did look a little bit different. Alright, so we finally got the light to come out. It looks like there is, or not the light, but we finally got the sun to come back out. And that is definitely a different color. I kind of like that, though. I think that looks really good. I'm assuming it'll be on the younger fallow. Let's snap a pic before it gets cloudy again. But that looks really good. Here is the piebald fallow doe. Let's pick her up real quickly. We're not going to tax her, but I do want to kind of get a look at it. Let's see if there's any major differences that we can notice. Honestly, I probably should have paid more attention on the buck, because I don't exactly remember everything about it, but I do feel like there is differences. There has to be. You guys let me know down in the comments if you notice any differences between the male and female piebalds, because I feel like there is some minor differences. And here is the last one we took out, and now that I get a look at it, I think this actually was the smallest one. And it is the manil, or whatever the fur type is. Let's see. Yeah, manil. So I do quite like the way that looks as well. Once again, let's tax that. And we shall see what it looks like in the light. Yeah, I think out of the common fur types, this is definitely my favorite. I definitely like the manil color better than the regular common. This is beautiful looking. It looked good on that doe we saw earlier, but it looks even better on this buck here. That is just absolutely beautiful. Fantastic looking deer. It's unfortunate we have yet to find like a decent sized one. All these look to be pretty average, but maybe we'll find a large one soon. And man, with the sun on it, yeah, that's great. That looks amazing. There we go. We finally get a look at a melanistic fallow deer buck. That is a beauty right there. Unfortunately, I think that might be the smallest one that we have seen all day, so that's a little unfortunate. However, it does seem that it will be our first melanistic. So let's call this thing in and try to get a shot on it with the bow. And let's just hope that there's something else in the area. I did find multiple different fallow deer tracks, so hopefully there's another one with him that we just haven't seen yet. Well, there's definitely multiple fallow deer. It looks like that might be a buck in the back there. I'm going to see if we can get a spot on it, because I think it could be a buck, and it actually is a doe. So we might only have this one buck in front of us with 3 does, which would be a little unfortunate that it's not more bucks, but I guess it is better than nothing. Alright, let's get lined up on this thing. We gotta make sure that we get a good shot into it. And unfortunately that angle was just absolutely awful, and I didn't have my rifle loaded either. So we should probably try to get another shot into it, but I can't see this going well. That was just a really rough situation with this super thick, tall grass. So yeah, we ended up getting a bad shot there. Now we're gonna have to track this thing down, which might take a little while considering that was an intestines shot. Well, unfortunately, because of that poor shot, it ran quite a long ways into the very, very brushy trees of Hirschfelden, so the lighting's not exactly great. I can try to pull it out here a little bit, but it's going to be kind of difficult. Let's go ahead and tax that guy as well. This one's only a 73 scoring, but we still want to get a good look at it in the trophy shot screen and in the lodge afterwards. So let's try to move it over here and just see what we can manage. Man, that is beautiful looking still. Like, I'm still very impressed with the look of the Melanistics. I think they're definitely the best one. 100% a huge fan of the Melanistics, and yeah, that is absolutely beautiful. Definitely the smallest one that we've killed, but still a stunning looking fallow deer nonetheless. I've been trying to make it so these trophy shots are good enough for me to use for thumbnails, which is why I've been doing this pose where they're just kind of standing up like this, because it does give like a better view of the entire animal. And I gotta say, that is still my favorite. Like, these Melanistic, they look so good. I'm gonna need to get myself one of these once this fully releases. I 100% need to grind for one on my main account. That would be such a cool trophy to get a hold of and get into one of my lodges. I like all of the rares for these fallow deer, but that Melanistic, man, it's just really next level compared to the others. Well, here we are with the last stop of the video, which is the Trophy Lodge, where we will be taking a look at all of the trophies that we managed to take down during this video. This was the nicest fallow deer I was able to find. Unfortunately, it's not nearly as large as they do get. From what I've seen from other people in the community that are beta testers or content creators or whoever it may be, from what I've seen on the leaderboards of these servers, it seems that they do get bigger than this, although I'm not going to spoil how big. I'm going to let you guys figure that out for yourself once you get a hold of this update and get to chase after some fallow deer. But they do get larger than this. This is unfortunately the largest I was able to find, but it's still a very good looking fallow deer, and I do think they did a great job on them. And then over here we have one of our Melanistics. This is the Melanistic Buck. That is a pretty small one, unfortunately, but it is a beautiful Melanistic nonetheless, and this is definitely my favorite of the fur types for them. Just absolutely beautiful. Over here we have the Leucistic along with a couple of the Piebalds and the normal manil colored one. I gotta say, such stunning looking fur variations for these fallow deer, and I honestly think the model for them looks really good. The antlers are not bad. I think, to be honest, Call the Wilds look a little bit nicer, but then again, this might just be the way real fallow deer look. They might have a little more jagged edges on their palms, but it's really hard to say. I'd have to do a little more research myself, but overall, I really like them. And then this random thing right here, which I still don't know how we managed to find ourselves a piebald red deer stag, especially considering I'd never have this type of luck in the main game, and these were not even boosted. It was just the fallow deer that were boosted on this beta test build. So we got really lucky finding this red deer, and I gotta say I'm pretty happy with that. It was very unexpected, but very cool. And then we tossed that Melanistic doe up here, which really isn't anything too crazy, but I figured we might as well chuck her in here as well. But out of everything that we managed to take down, I'd say the best ones were this Melanistic here and this nice buck over here. Both very good looking fallow. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys all enjoyed this first look at the brand new fallow deer here in the Hunter Classic. I tried to show off as much as I could, tried to get every single fur type, as well as a decent amount of different varying rack sizes, and I think we accomplished most of what I was hoping to do, along with getting this dude right here. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you're brand new to the channel, be sure to subscribe, click that like button, and ring that notification bell so that you guys will never miss any of the future uploads. Also, be sure to leave a comment down below on what you think of the brand new fallow deer and if you think they did a good job on them or not. I'm really interested to see what you guys have to say, so be sure to let me know. But with that being said, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace!